First invocation by Yamini Madam.
Namaskaram, sir.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, sir. Bahyamunandunu Govinda Govindayani Koluvavu Manasa Bhavamulo Bahyamunandunu Hari Avataramule Akhila Devatalu Hari Lonive Brahmandam Gulu Hari Avataramule Akhila Devatalu Hari Lonive Brahmandam Gulu Hari Namamule Mantra Mulu Harinamamule Anni Mantra Mulu Hari 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 Yanavo Manasa Bhavamulo Bahyamunandunu Vishnu ni Mahimale Vihita Karma Mulu Vishnu ni pogade vedam gudu Vishnu du okade Vishwantaratmudu Vishnu ani vedakavo Manasa bhavamulona Bahyamunandunu Achududitade Adiyunantyamu Achudude Asuranta Kudu Achududitade Adiyunantyamu Achudude Asuranta Kudu Achududu Shri Venkatadri Nite Achududu Shri Venkatadri Nite Achuda Sharanenavo Manasa Achuda Sharanenavo Manasa Bhavamulona Bahyamunandunu Govindayani Koluvavu Manasa Bhavamulo Bahyamunandunu Dhanyasmi again.
Thank you very much, Yamini Madam. Now, let me have the pleasure of welcoming you all. Dear respected members, on behalf of Alumni Association of Vaishnavism, Department of Vaishnavism, University of Madras, I welcome you all to this August gathering. Today is really an eventful day with a lot of importance to all Vaishnavism students, as the topic of the day is about Visishtadvaita, particularly the origin of Visishtadvaita. We have to say that we all know that when we think of philosophy of Visishtadvaita, the name of Ramanuja immediately comes to our mind. In fact, most of us think that Ramanuja is the founder of Visishtadvaita and Shankara is the founder of Advaita and Madhva is the Advaita, Madhvacharya is the founder of Dvaita. But our Vedanta is the starting point for all the philosophies, and in fact, the philosophy of all the religion existed much before these acharyas. If you take the case of Visishtadvaita, the concept existed from ancient times and was originally expounded by Bodhayana in his Vrittigrantha, which is about 400 BC. Ramanuja followed Bodhayana. He went to Kashmir and took the Bodhayana Vrittigrantha, and it was taken back by the Saraswati Bhandar. All these things you know. So, and the interpretations of Brahma Sutra were all based on that only. And there are many acharyas in Vedic period like Shankar, Dravidar, who had the like thinking and the same way. In fact, Ramanuja did not use the word Visishtadvaita in any of his 9 granthas to refer to his philosophy. He uses only Visishtadvaita Aikyam to differentiate it from Advaita. It was only Sudarsana Suri, the author of Sudha Prakasika, mentions the name Visishtadvaita in his Grantha. Now coming to our speaker today, Dr. Srinivasan needs no introduction to us. For many PhD scholars, he was the external examiner for their Viva. A very great Sanskrit scholar, he is now attached to Kuppuswamy Sastrigal Research Institute, Mylapore. He was a student of RKMVivekananda College, and after his doctorate degree, he joined his alma mater as Sanskrit faculty, where he worked for 35 years and retired as HOD and principal of the institute. Now he is attached to KSRI, Kuppuswamy Sastrigal Research Institute. A scholar of high caliber, he has authored many books too, which include Tattva Santanam and Sostras of Appaya Dikshadhar. He has authored one Jain book also, and he was invited by Hebrew University, Jerusalem in 2004 to espouse towards the new history of Sanskrit literature. Sir, kindly mute all your this one, please. In 2008, he was invited for the annual meeting of the prestigious American Academy of Religion, Chicago, where he spoke on Hinduism. These are all my addition from Google, because he never gave anything to me. Such a simple personality. He is always known as, to his friend circle, as Vesti Srinivasan. Wherever he goes only as simple as in his dhoti only. So much simple man with a lot of scholarship with him, and I now request him to talk about early Visishtadvaita, that is pre-Ramanuja days. Thank you very much, sir. Now I call upon Mr. Srinivasan to talk.
Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Gurubhyascha Tadgurubhyascha Namo Vakam Adhimahe Gridhimahe Cha Tatradyo Dampati Jagatampati Lakshminatha Samarambham Natha Yamuna Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Very much. Oh, no problem.
Now, this verse, Lakshminatha Samarambham, I have just purposely chosen this verse here because even though the darsana is called Empirumana or Darsanam, Natha Yamuna Madhyamam, they happen to be the progenitors or happen to be the Vyavasthapakas and Pratishtapakas. That's why Natha Yamuna Madhyamam, and then from them it started, truly from them it started, and it is coming up to the line, to this day, present day. Hence it is said Lakshmi Natha, Gridhimahe Cha Tatradyo, like that. That is, it started with Bhagavan and then started with Sri Vishaksena, like that. That is the traditional Guru Parampara. This Guru Parampara is there everywhere. In all the Siddhantas, we have got 2 traditional Paramparas. In Tamil, Saiva Siddhanta, they call it Ahachandanam and Purachandanam. Ahachandanam is the tradition in which it is passed on in Kailasa, and from there it comes to the world, and then it gets passed through worldly teachers. In Advaita also we have got Narayanam, Padmabhuvam, Vasishtam, Saktincha Tatputra Parasarancha, Sakti, Vyasam, Shukam, up to that. Up to that it happened to be, in our parlance, it is mythical or Arsha tradition, that is the Rishi tradition. And from then, Gaudapadam Mahantam, Govinda Yogindram, Athasi Sishyam, Sankaracharyam, and from Sankaracharya, the tradition. In this way, it passes on like that. So in the same way, the same tradition continues there also. But it is not that as if they want some authenticity and authority, for that they are introducing the mythical Guru Parampara.
Okay.
The religion exists.
Hello,
The
how
philosophy. Hello?
Please mute, please.
The philosophy also exists even before that. So, in fact, in the Mimamsa work, Jaimini has written Mimamsa Darshana, and it was commented by Sabara in his Bhashya, and the Sabara Bhashya has been commented by Kumarila Bhatta. Kumarila Bhatta has written 3 commentaries: Shloka Vartika on the first pada, Tantra Vartika up to the 3rd Adhyaya, and then Tuptika up to the end of 12th Adhyaya. In Tantra Vartika, he says, even
Srinivasan sir, your system is frozen, I think.
நடு
Yes.
நடுவுல
Yes,
கொஞ்சம்
can't hear. Can't hear.
Can't
நடு
hear.
நடுவுல கொஞ்சம் படுத்தும் சார். இப்ப கேக்குறதா?
இப்ப கேக்குறது. இப்ப கேக்குறதுலாம் நன்னா கேக்குறது. நீ பேசுற போது கேட்க மாட்டேங்கிறது.
எப்பவுமே கேட்கல, நடுவுல ஒரே ஒரு நிமிஷம்.
இல்ல இது வரைக்கும் நன்னா கேட்டேன், ஒன்னும் ப்ராப்ளமே இல்ல.
இல்ல நடு நடுவுல கொஞ்சம் படுத்தும்.
அப்படியா? சரி.
ப்ராப்ளம் இருக்கு. ஒரு செகண்ட், அதாவது நடுவுல ஒரு 10 செகண்ட் டக்குன்னு அது எங்கேயோ வெளில போயிட்டு வந்துரும்.
சரி, ஓகே.
அதாவது ரொம்ப அட்டென்டிவா இருக்கணும்னு அர்த்தம். நம்ம இதெல்லாம் என்ன சொல்றது, பகவானுடைய சம்பந்தப்பட்ட விஷயங்களோ இல்லையோ. I was talking about Mimamsa Darsana. Mimamsa Darsana means, in modern parlance, we say hermeneutics, or the principles of interpretation. How? That is, as we say, as it happens in the court of law. When a particular case, when a particular when the constitutional principle, law principle is to be interpreted, what are all the principles to be applied, and then how it is to be interpreted, which interpretation is correct, like that. Those principles have been what is called analyzed, they have been arranged, and they have been presented by means of certain maxims. They are nearly about 1000 maxims have been analyzed and arranged in about 12 adhyayas, in about 60 padas. So that is the Mimamsa Darshana. That also is equally important. We are going to touch it. And then that Mimamsa Darshana had been commented by Kumarila Bhatta. And the second important commentary, there are 3 commentaries Kumarila had written of the 60 padas. The first pada had been commented in Shloka Vartika in the form of verses. And up to the end of the 3rd Adhyaya, he has commented in the form of Tantra Vartika, it is a prose. And then Tuptika, very small commentary from 4th Adhyaya onwards. In Tantra Vartika, he says, Nahi Susikshitopi Eka Eva Getavantam Yukti Kalapam Upasamaharstum Kshamaha. Though a person is really very great, a person could not single-handedly collect all the principles, nearly 1000 principles, all the principles together and then present it. So it is the effort of generations. That is, Mimamsa is not the work of a single hello? Mimamsa is not the work of a single person. That is Mimamsa Darsana, and the principles, they are the effort of so many people, so many scholars who have gone before. They have written, and the discussions have taken place, debates have taken place, and those principles that are valid, they stood the ground, and those principles have been collected together and compiled, and that compilation happens to be Jaimini's work of Mimamsa Darsana. So that becomes an important point. In this way, so many authors have contributed, and the same thing with all the darsanas. That's why when the sutras, you find so many names. For example, in Badarayana's Brahma Sutra also, we come across many names like Asmarathya, Audulomi, Karshnajini, Kasakrishna, Badari, all these authors, their views have been quoted. All of them have written on Upanishads. They must have written, commented on Upanishads. And they have come out with various principles, various interpretations, various ideas. Not only interpretations, what should be the particular meaning, or what should be the idea of a particular passage or particular context, particular principle. And then what principle should be taken. Badarayana has collected those principles under particular headings, and then he has included those views. Their names also have been included. In this way, the names we find here in Mimamsa, that is Uttara Mimamsa, and we find it Purva Mimamsa, and all the Nyaya, Vaiseshika, in every philosophy, we find these names. So thus, we find the names of those people. So now, what I am taking is up to say Natha Yamuna Madhyamam, that is they happen to be the central place of that is Visishtadvaita Siddham, and before Natha Yamuna, how the system has been developed or how the system is seen. That's what I wanted to see, and then I am looking at it. Some portions alone, I am just that also is that is even before pre-Ramanuja, pre-Natha Yamuna period itself. It has got lots of informations, and then we cannot collect all the things together, one single person in some time, and then that cannot be presented in one single hour lecture also. So I have collected some acharyas. I have seen some acharyas. There are two different types. One is actually the source books, that is Vedas and Vedanta and Agamas, and then Prabandhas, like that original source books are there. And then these Visishtadvaitic principles can be seen in the original source works. And then the acharyas, so many acharyas, as has been quoted by Professor T.K. Parsardi, that is Tanka, Dramida, and all those people who have Bodhayana, those people who have written books. But unfortunately, the books written by them have not come down to us. But we have got some quotation, important points, are the points on which some of the philosophies and some of the philosophical principles have been developed. They have been quoted by the later acharyas. So I have taken a few of those quotations, and based on those quotations, I develop this particular point. And what should be the source? If you take Brahma Sutra, it wants Karanantik Dhyayaha, so Vaishnavisya sa Vijignyasitavyaha. So what is the Paramakarana of this world? That happens to be one of the fundamental principle or fundamental question. Kvala Swabhavo Niyatir Yadricha. What can be this fundamental cause? So in this way, Shvetastra Upanishad gives an idea how the various sages have discussed these ideas, how they have come across that, like Kalaha, some person saying, some sage saying, some rishi saying, for Kala, time. Time is the ultimate source of everything. Everything happens in time. Swabhavaha, this is nature. It happens like that. Yadricha, it is accidental. Niyatihi, it is fate. Everyone coming across with their own view, like that. So in this way, they view it in different ways. And there were many great authors also, both Vedic and non-Vedic. If you look at it, Asuri, Pipalada, Bharadwaja, Satyakama Jabala, Upakosala, Shandilya, like that, Uddalaka, Balaki, Ajatasatru, Yajnavalkya, like that, so many people who have been quoted in the Upanishads. Because it is Apaurushaya, we don't take them to be historical personages, but at least their names have been associated with. So the views of Yajnavalkya, what did Yajnavalkya say, like that. So they need not be personages, they can be just names in the Veda, because they being Apaurushaya, not associated with the time. Either way, it depends on how we look at it. And then the non-Vedic traditions also. In the non-Vedic traditions also, there were so many people. Say for example, Purna Kasyapa, Bakuda Kachapayana, Ajita Kesa Kampalin, Maskarin, Gosaliputra Maskala, Sanjaya, like that. Say Ajita Kaishakampalin and Maskarin Gosalaka. These are the people who are considered to be associated with Ajivaka, and Mahavira and Gautama Buddha. They are associated with Jainism and Buddhism. Even before Mahavira, Parshvanatha was there. Like that, the tradition was very, very rich. That is the philosophical tradition that was available here. Really, it was very rich. So in this way, even within Charvaka, we have different systems. Say there is one Charvaka, say for example, very early Charvaka, which is called the system of Brihaspati. But in the first millennium of the Common Era, we have got Tattvopaplava Simha, written by Jairasi Bhatta. So he has got certain views, a practical materialistic philosophy. It's not a theoretical philosophy, as has been, as we see in the Purvapachas, in the other Siddhantas. So even Charvaka has got its Chikskiism. Even the materialistic philosophy is not only we are knowing it from the what is called the Purvapachas alone, but it, say for example, Japali, who spoke about Rama, who spoke to Rama when Rama was exiled by Dasartha, how he need not follow it like that. So in the court of Dasartha, not in the court of Rama, Rama had not yet become a king. So in the court of Dasaratha, we had Japali. He has been accommodated. Japali has been accommodated, and his views also, Rama had given him time to what is called express his opinion and all those things. Like that, everybody had their representation, fair representation, and they were free to express. The entire chapter has been devoted for Japali's opinion in Ramayana. So in this way, all the in fact, in Mahabharata, while discussing what is called, while Bhishma giving the idea of the Rajya, Dharma and Artha and Kama, all these on the three Purusharthas, he gives so many information to Yudhishthira. That is in the Santi Parva and Anusasanika Parva. There, Atrapi Udaharantimam Itihasam Puratanam. These are the general verses quoted there. When certain intricate problems are presented, when the problems don't admit answers, either this or that, like that, then how the stories have been there, the stories have taken the problems, how the stories have discussed them, and the present, how the arguments are developed. Those arguments are given, and then Bhishma collects those arguments. Say, for example, in the punishment, in the area of punishment, they discuss what should be the nature of the punishment, what should be the philosophy of a king to introduce the punishment, or what is called to have a scheme of the punishment. Like that, those things are also discussed. So even in Mahabharata, in pre-Mahabharata period, it is the recollection of those ideas by Bhishma. It is not what is called Vyasa writing those information. Bhishma recollecting those ideas, and then they are being incorporated in the Mahabharata. In this way we see. And there are many Mimamsakas. Just now I said Mimamsa, so many philosophies. One Mimamsaka is called Kasakritsna. This Kasakritsna seems to be a very popular Mimamsa writer. His name will be there in what is called Visishtadvaita philosophy quoted. He has written many books. And in the grammar, how his system will be developed, the Kasakritsna system is derived, and in the Mahabhashya and Kashika, Kasakritsna's name is cited as an example. In the Sutra, in Paninian Sutra 4.1.14, Mahabhashyakara cite this as an example of counter example. Kasakritsni, Kasakritsnina Prokta Mimamsa Kasakritsni. So the Mimamsa, which is what is called presented by Kasakritsni, that is called Kasakritsni. Tam Adhite, say it can be studied both by men and women. Those women who study this particular Mimamsa, they are called Kasakritsnaha. So Tam Adhite iti Kasakritsnaha. There are 5 or 6 sutras in which the Kasakritsna Mimamsa is cited as an example. And the Mimamsa is not a simple text, but it is so popular. And then even in a grammar book, the Mimamsa works, the author, how the Mimamsa word, the author of Mimamsa, or the text, the subject of Mimamsa from the name of a particular author, because there were so many schools. Since there were so many schools, all the schools have to be differentiated. Each school has to be derived in a particular way. Hence, the names of these words have been derived in the grammar, and the grammar has got special sutras to accommodate those things. That's how it becomes an important point. Why? Now, why this word Mimamsa, Kasa Krishna, etc.? Say, for example, we have got two types of schools, Astika Shaddarsanas, Nastika Shaddarsanas. These are all very popular terms later. And now, Astika Nastika is generally Vedic and non-Vedic. It is used in the sense of Vedic and non-Vedic, because many of the Nastika Shaddarsanas also, they accept karma, rebirth, and all those things. So essentially, it is Vedic and non-Vedic. So in the Vedic system, we have got Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Sankhya Yoga, Purva Mimamsa, and Vedanta. We call it like that. So these two systems, why we say Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Sankhya Yoga? These systems are called sister darsanas. In Sanskrit parlance, they are called Samana Tantras. They are equal systems. They are systems which are on par with each other, or where when we get a doubt in a particular system, we can take it from other systems. That is, the idea can be supplemented and complemented by the other systems. Say, for example, when you take Nyaya and Vaiseshika, Nyaya has got more of logical discussions of logic and other things, how to prove a particular thing. So the fundamental categories in Nyaya will be based on debates. Whereas in Vaiseshika, the fundamental categories will be ontological things like Dravya, Guna, Karma, that is the matter, and then properties of the matter, and then action, the application of heat, and things like that, atom, and the special characteristics like that. So it will be physical and chemical matter in Vaiseshika, whereas it is logical matter in Nyaya. So Nyaya and Vaiseshika both complement, supplement each other. In the same way, Sankhya and Yoga also. In another way, it is called Nirishwara Sankhya and Seswara Sankhya. In the same way, Mimamsa. But while coming to Mimamsa, Vedantins have got it. Vedantin means Advaitins. Advaitins have a different take. The Purva Mimamsa has got karma as essential characteristic, and through karma we can get emancipation. Emancipation is remaining free from this karma or the actions of this karma. So it is not anything like moksha as we find it in Vedanta. So it is what is called getting exhausted of all these karmas. Only that much they say. They don't go beyond that. Whereas in the Vedanta, and now when we come to Vedanta, Vedanta being a theistic system, they don't have only one view. We have got different, I mean, everywhere. Say, for example, even in Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Sankhya, everywhere we have got schisms. In Mimamsa also, we have got Jaran Mimamsakas, and then Prachina Mimamsakas, and then Adhunika Mimamsakas, that is very early Mimamsakas, and early Mimamsakas, and later Mimamsakas, like that. And then within this, we have got Bhatta Mimamsakas and Prabhakara Mimamsakas. So the divisions are very ordinary, but there are systematic differences also. Say, for example, when you take Vedanta, you have got Advaita system, and then you have got Visishtadvaita. Within Visishtadvaita, you have Vishnu Visishtadvaita, Shiva Visishtadvaita, Shakti Visishtadvaita, and you have got Dvaita system. Within Dvaita system also, you can have Veerasaiva philosophy and other philosophies like Madras Dvaita system, and then Vallabhacharya, Nimbarka, Gauranga, that is Chaitanya system. Like that, so many systems. Nearly about Shakti Vedanta, that is Shaktas Vedanta, Vaidika Vedanta also is there, and then Vaikhanasa system also, it is called the Lakshmi Visishtadvaita. In this way, there are many Vedanta systems. There are nearly about 27 Bhashyas written on Brahma Sutra by so many people professing different systems. So this is how different systems have come to existence, and different philosophies are there. The Advaita system, say for example, the Nyaya and Vaiseshika were taken together, Sankhya and Yoga were taken as Samana Tintras, But Advaita system, it says Purva Mimamsa and Muttara Mimamsa, both of them are different. But some of the other systems, including Visishtadvaita, Ramanuja's Visishtadvaita, they subscribe the Vedanta of what is called the Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. Both of them constitute together as one system. And this is not just the view of Ramanuja alone, it is there even before the times of Ramanuja. And then we have got many of the acharyas who have subscribed to, who have been quoted. That is the existence of these acharyas, though only we know the names of these acharyas and their works have not come down to us. Yamuna in his Siddhitraya, he says, Acharya Tanka, Bhartru Prapancha, Bhartru Mitra, Bhartru Hari, Brahmadatta, Shankara, Srivatsanka, Bhaskaradi. So he quotes so many people and then he says Adi. So many people have existed before. Of course, he has not included the word Dramida and Bodhayana here because these are all the people Sita Sita. So these people, the opinions of these people are not acceptable to Yamuna. Since these opinions of these people are not acceptable to Yamuna, he has quoted them as what is called, their views are something what is called Shraddha Vipralabdha Buddhayaha Na Yathavat Anyatacha Pratipadyante. Their views are not real. They are not what is called truly representing Vedic views. They have got their own views. And here comes the problem. He includes Acharya Tanka. Tanka is generally in many of the writings not sorry. Tanka is identified with Brahmanandi, Atreya Brahmanandi, and Brahmanandi, let us see. Brahmanandi is what is called approvingly quoted by Ramanuja, whereas Tanka's name come here, Na Yathavat Pratipadyante, like that. So these are we will take it up. And then this Acharya Bodhayana. So in this way, Bodhayana accepts Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa as one single system. Now, coming to the authors, I will come to their view later, but coming to the existence of the authors, some of the authors whom we have what is called, I have quoted here. So there are these people, the names whom the Bhashyakaras have quoted or cited are Bodhayana, Brahmanandi, Dramidacharya. These three people have been very quoted by both Advaitins and Visishtadvaitins. Brahmanandin and Dramidacharya have been quoted both by Advaitins and Visishtadvaitins. Bodhayana has been quoted by Visishtadvaita Acharyas. Besides, there are few other people like Brahmadatta, Bhartruhari, Bhartru Prapancha, and Bhartru Mitra, all those things. Those people have been what is called criticized. They have been criticized very much in Advaita works also. And of course, Yadava Prakasa and Bhaskara, etc., they are post Sankara authors. So I will restrict myself to three authors here: Bodhayana, Brahmanandi, and Dramidacharya. And we have got of these quotations, only the works are not available, but only quotations are available. So only about 7 quotations of Bodhayana are available. They have been traced and then they have been collected together. 7 quotations of Bodhayana are available in the Sribhashya of Ramanuja, and they are not available in other works. Of course, there are other people also like Upavarsha. Upavarsha is referred to as Bhagavan Upavarshaha by Shankara. In 2 or 3 places, he is referred to with the honorific Bhagavan. And Brahmanandi, there are totally, both within Advaita and Visishtadvaita traditions together, there are 20 quotations of Brahmanandi are available and 30 quotations of Dramidacharya are available. So totally 50 quotations between Brahmanandi and Dramidacharya. A small account about these 3 people. Bodhayana is considered to be the Bhashyakara of Brahma Sutra. He has written a very elaborate commentary, and his commentary, his Bhashya is called Kritakoti. And Kritakoti, somewhere in some books, Kritakoti is referred to as the name of a person also. So he is Kritakoti, generally Kritakoti is identified with the text also. And somewhere it is said Bodhayana had written the Bhashya in 60,000 granthas. That is, the length of Bodhayana's Bhashya and Brahma Sutra is 60,000 verses. 60,000 is nearly two-thirds, approximately two-thirds the size of Mahabhashya. Such a big text was there. And then it has been comprised, it has been what is called simplified by the Vakyakara, Brahmanandi, in about 6,000 verses. Shat Sahasra Granthena, they say 6,000 verses. Brahmanandi has simplified it, and that Brahmanandi's commentary has been commented by Dramidacharya, and Dramidacharya's work has been commented by Guhadeva in his Tika. So Bodhayana is called Bhashyakara, and then Brahmanandi is called Vakyakara. Dramidacharya also is called Bhashyakara, Vakya Bhashyakara, and Guhadeva is called Tikakara. And of course, in Ramanuja's Sri Bhashya also we have get these names: Bodhayana, Tanka, Dramidacharya, Kapaddi, Guhadeva, Bharuchi. So these are all the people. And Bodhayana has written a very Vistirna Grantha, and Purvacharyaha Sanchichikshipuhu, Ramanuja says. That is, the Purvacharyas have simplified Bodhayana's very elaborate work, and that tallies with Tanka has simplified it with in about 6,000 verses, and that has been further simplified by Ramanuja in his Bhashya, like that. So this is how these people have commented. That is the tradition of the commentary on Brahma Sutra. But in the Advaita tradition, Brahmanandi is taken as, of course, it is there in the Ramanuja tradition also, but in the Advaita tradition, Brahmanandi is taken to be Chandogya Vakyakara. He has written a commentary not in the form of verses, in the form of a prose, and while writing a prose commentary, it is simply like what is called in the form of a sutra form. That's why he is called Vakyakara, that is simple pithy prose sentences. He has written his commentary in the form of pithy prose sentences, and that has been elaborated by Dramidacharya, Dramida Bhashyakara. The Advaitic tradition identifies Dramidacharya with Acharya Sundara Pandya, maybe a southern king, Pandya king, and he has written another work called Niti Drisashtika. Whether Acharya Sundara Pandya, who has written on both the Purva and Uttara Mimamsa works, and the author of Niti Drisashtika are one and the same. Many of the people don't agree, but both of them happen to be. The Niti Drisashtika author also says, one who is adept in both the Purva and Uttara Mimamsas, that Sundara Pandya has written this work. He has claimed like that. So it can be same. And many of the Advaitic later authors, they identify Dravidacharya with Acharya Sundara Pandya. And Shankaracharya, at the end of the Samanvayadhikarana, that is 114, Brahma Sutra 114, quotes 3 verses. Atra Ahuhu, Gaunamityatmano Satve, like that, 3 verses he quotes. Those 3 verses are considered to be, the commentators identify those 3 verses as Acharya Sundara Pandya's and Dravidacharya's work. They identify like that. And 3 verses, different 3 verses have been quoted by Tantravarti, in Tantravartika by Kumarla Bhatta also. So totally 6 verses written by Sundara Pandya or Dravidacharya are available besides these 20 verses, 20 quotations. So these are the true traditions available. And now this Dravidacharya becomes an important character in Advaita. Say for example, in Advaita what happens is Brahman, because of Maya, sees itself as Jiva, and the Jiva is due to the effect of illusion. That is, Jiva has to, say for example, they cite the example of Yadhavardita Rajakumara Drishtanta. That is the example they cite. That is, a prince has been taken away, abducted by hunters, and the hunter was what is called, hunters were rearing that prince, but that prince has been identified by ministers and others, and then the prince has to be informed, you are the prince, you are no longer the hunter's son, you are a prince. And then what should he do? He need not do anything, especially there is nothing to be done. He has to understand that I am the prince, only that much. He is under the mistaken notion, I am a hunter. He has to understand that I am a king, I am no longer a hunter, I am a king. Like that he has to understand. So the Veda removes our wrong notions or illusory notions. That idea, what is called, Dravidacharya has cited this story, and this story is Atra Sampradaya Vidam Gatham Udaharati. In this way, this particular story is always quoted while explaining Tattvamasyadi Vakya. This story is given by Shankaracharya, Sampradaya Vidam Gatha, the story Akyayika, the story given by the traditional Advaitic people, the traditional Vedantic people. This is given in the Brihadaranyaka in the second Adhyaya in the first Brahmana. So in this way, it is regularly quoted. So now we can understand how both the people, both Visishtadvaitin and Advaitins, what is called approvingly quote the two in what is called differing places. In differing places, they quote Brahmanandi as well as Dravidacharya. So unless their books are available, unless we are able to trace their books, we will not be able to say. And Bodhayana is sometimes identified with Upavarsha. Some people say Bodhayana and Upavarsha are two different people, and Bodhayana is identified with Upavarsha. That is, one view is both of them are same. Say two places, I will just, there are 7 examples, 7 citations given by Ramanuja. The 5 citations are actually discussing the meanings of Upanishad passages. I'm not going there. 2 principles I will quote. Say, for example, in the Athato Brahma Jignasa, what is the meaning of the word Atha? According to Shankara, the meaning of the word Atha is Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti Anantaram. That is, a man should develop a philosophical bent of mind. They are called Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. He should be able to know what is peripheral and what is ephemeral and what is permanent. That identity should be there, that idea should be there. And then he should develop a sort of what is called the Vairagya, and then Samadhamadi, the sense control, and then a desire to get released. So these are the fundamental characteristics and important qualifications to proceed to study Vedanta. Unless these qualifications are there, one cannot what is called qualified to study Vedanta. Whereas according to Ramanuja, essentially the word Atha is not just what is called these qualifications. These happen to be the result of Vedantic study, whereas the qualifications for Vedanta is because Vedanta is essentially in a hermeneutic works. And then for example, you have to go to the Purva Mimamsa. We must have the idea of Karmakanda, thorough knowledge of Karmakanda, and afterwards you can proceed with the Jnanakanda. That is, both of them, since they happen to be one single whole, one single system, they form together, they form one single system. Bodhayana says, Athato Brahma Jignasa, on that particular point, Atha, Vrittat, Karma Adhikarad Anantaram Brahma Vividisha. Karma Adhikara, that is, after one gets what is called the knowledge of karma, one gets what is called the thorough idea about karma and the Karma Mimamsa principles, then he develops the knowledge to study Brahma Vividisha. That is, the desire, he develops the desire to study Brahma Mimamsa. So Karma Mimamsa is the essential characteristic or pre-qualification for Brahma Mimamsa. Why? He puts another Samhitameta Charirakam Jaiminiyena Shodasa Lakshanena Iti Shastraikatva Siddhihi. Yetat Sharirakam, these 4 adhyayas by Badarayana, Samhitam is integrally united with Jaiminiyena Shodasa Lakshanena, with the 16 chapters of Jaimini. So the first 12 chapters, these 12 chapters alone are now available. It is called the Karma Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa, and then there are 4 other chapters are there. The 4 other chapters are called the Sankarshana Kanda, and they discuss these 4 chapters discuss with Devata Adhyaya. So together, they what is called, it is considered those 4 Adhyayas are also have been written by Jaimini, but now Jaimini Sankarshana Kanda is not available. Madras University has published one Sankarshana Kanda by Devaswamin and with the Devaswamin's commentary and others. So, according to Bodhayana, the same idea has been followed by Ramanuja too. That is, Atha means after the knowledge of Karma Mimamsa, and both these subjects together form one single whole. That becomes an important point. Of course, there are some other points like what is called discussion with what is the meaning of a particular word, what exactly that particular idea, etc. But some important other point, a few other points, 1 or 2 points, which become very important, which distinguish Vedanta from Purva Mimamsa and other systems. So those points we will take. Those points have been developed in Ramanuja's system based on Dramida's Bhashya as well as Brahmanandin's Vakya commentary. So I will take those 2 points, how they contribute. Say for example, Upanishad. Upanishadnatvat. Upanishadnatvat is the one of the important meaning given by, it is the meaning word given by interpretation of the word Upanishad given by Vakyakara, that is Brahmanandi or Tanka. Shankara says Upanishad. According to Shankara, because only when we what is called the contrast with Advaita and Visishtadvaita, we will know how Vakyakaras and the Dramidacharya's views have influenced the Ramanuja, or how Ramanuja's system has been developed from those 2 people. So according to Shankara, Upanishad. Shad is the dot to Shadil Visarana Gati Avasadana. Shadil means Visarana, scattering, Gati, reaching, Avasadana, putting an into. So when you get the knowledge of Upanishad, that is Brahmajnana, Aham Brahmasmi, that knowledge is there, that puts an end to samsara. So Visarana Gati, in that way, Upanishad is understood. But Upanishad, that is, it is very deep mystical ideas. Mystical ideas are there. These mystical ideas have to be learned directly under the teacher, with the teacher. So Upanishadna, Gahane Hiyam Vidya Sannivishta. This Vidya pertains directly deep into the mystery. That becomes an important point. Afterwards, that is, Vidya is not enough. After Vidya, steps are there. Hence, Upanishad is taken as Upanishadna. This is the word, and the famous Kapyasam Pundarikam. So, Hiranmaya Purusho Drishyate. This is the description of the Lord. It is in the 1st chapter of the Chandogya. In the 6th section, it comes Hiranmayaha. And here, Vakyakara. Vakyakara, according to Advaita tradition, and Visishtadvaita also did not dispute it. Vakyakara has written commentary on Chandogya. This Vakyakara is said to have written 6 meanings for this Hiranmaya Purushaha Drishyate, for this section. The 6 meanings they have got both etymological significance as well as Rudhi, that is conventional significance. In the Sanskrit, I mean everywhere, even in Tamil, we have got Iduguri Payar and Karana Payar. Iduguri Payar is conventionally, that is in the from time immemorial, a particular word means a particular thing, only that much. Why that word means that particular thing, we don't go into derivation of all those things. A word gives that meaning. Such a word is called the conventional meaning. It is called the Sanketa, and then it is called the Rudhi in Sanskrit. Etymological means it is called the Yogika. Yoga means joining together. Prakriti Pratya analysis is done, so etymological derivations are made. So for this Kapyasam, 3 conventional meanings are taken, 3 etymological meanings are taken. Shankara follows conventional meaning. So he takes Kapi as Kapi, but there are different meanings also are there. And Ramanuja goes in for etymological significance, not for conventional significance. So Kampatiti Kapihi, like that, Kampibatiti Kapihi, like that. That is what is called the son from whom, like that. The meaning is well known. So in this way, this particular significance is taken. This particular significance, of course, Vakyakara himself gives. I am not going into all those aspects. I am coming into another important point. Shankara says the difference between Shankara and Ramanuja. Saguna Brahman and Nirguna Brahman. In the concept of Shankara, Saguna Brahman is Maya Maya Rupa. That is, due to Maya, Nirguna Brahman takes the form of, in association with Maya, Nirguna Brahman takes the form of Saguna Brahman. That is, with all forms and all those things. Shantakaram, Bhujagasayanam, Padmanabham, Surehasam, or whatever it may be. What is called, whether it be Shiva. So, Nilagrivam, Virubhaksham, Namami Shivam Avyayam, whatever form we take, that particular form is a Maya Maya form of Nirguna Brahman. And why? Sadhaka Anugrahartam. We have to develop Chitta Suddhi, that is concentration. And in order to develop concentration, etc., we have to do meditation. And for that meditation, there are different types of upasanas, Pratikopasana, Ahangrahopasana, Karmanga, Vadhopasana, etc. All these things are discussed by Vakyakara and they have been used by Ramanuja in other places. So now, in order to do these upasanas, Lord takes the forms Sadhaka Anugrahartam Mayamayam Rupam. And this point, this is the quotation, this is the point given by Shankara. The very same points are used by Vakyakara and Dramidacharya. Nasyat tadrupam kritakam anugrahartam tadchetasam aishwaryat. So tadrupam syat tadrupam kritakam, artificial rupam, anugrahartam, that is to bless the people, chetasam aishwaryat, he can, what is called, discuss it, he can bless people. Then this is taken as the Purvapaksha view, and then Bhashyakara, Dramidacharya, Bhashyakara means Bhashya and Vakyakara, Dramidacharya, he says, complete by itself. So Vishwasrijaha Rupam, Anjasaiva Vishwasrijo Rupam. The creative form is total by itself. It is not dependent on something else. Tattu na chakshusha grahyam. That cannot be comprehended by Manasa. That is, we cannot comprehend it. That is, Bhagavan himself has to give it. Akalushena sadhanantaravata grihiyate. That mind has to, akalushena, but untainted mind, that is by a pure mind. Na chakshusha grihiyate napi vacha manasatu visuddhena. That is, he quotes, that is Dramidacharya quotes a Shruti. And Ramanuja, based on this particular Dramidacharya's Bhashya, Antastadharmopadesat, in that particular sutra, Brahma Sutra, he quotes this particular idea. Tasya yete gunaha vasi sarvasyesanaha. That is Bhagavan's Lord's guna, etc. Vakyakarascha yetat sarvam suspashtamaha. Vakyakara, that is Brahmanandi, has clearly stated all those things. So now Purvapaksham Krita, Yetadeva Purvapaksham Kritva, he made this a prima facie view, that is Sadhaka Anugrahartam Mayamayam Rupam. That he has taken as a Purvapaksha, and then Parasya Brahmanaha Swarupataya Nirdesat. Jnanadayaha, that is the characteristic, etc., as presented as Parasya Brahmanaha Swarupa. So Bhashyakarena Yetad Vyakyatam. This particular point has been presented so by Bhashyakara also. And now another important point. Say in Advaita we have got Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. Brahma Vidapnoti Param, etc. may be described as that is Vimuktascha Vimuchyate. Something, all these points are presented. That is, a person gets, one who gets the realization here itself, he becomes what is called a knowledgeable person here, and then he later on Videha Kaivalya. So it is Jivan Mukti and Videha Kaivalya. In this way it is presented. But Ramanuja says Anuvidya Vijanati, Brahma Vidapnoti Param, etc. are developing a strong knowledge from scripture, and then developing a strong knowledge from scripture, and then later on meditating on it. That is Nididhyasana. Later on meditating on it, he becomes what is called as if he is getting Aparoksha Jnana. So that is something like aparokshikarana. That is darsana samanakara pratipattihi. This is what Ramanuja uses the word. Darsana samanakara pratipattihi. It is the comprehension, something on par with or similar to visualization. It is not exactly visualizing, but it is on par with, similar to visualization. And here the word Vedanam. Vedanam is knowing. The word knowing is used in the sense of upasana. And then Vakyakara uses the word Vedanancha upasanam syat tad vishaye sravanat. So it is not Ramanuja alone saying, but long before Ramanuja, there was the commentator of Chandogya, and his name is Brahmanandi Vakyakara. He has given 3 sentences. Vedanamcha upasanam. Vedana means knowing is upasana. Tad vishaye sravanat. Because the word Vedana in the sense of upasana, in the sense of meditation, has been heard very often in Vedas. Yayevam Veda, Yayevam Upaste. It starts with Upaste. It starts with Upaste, ends with Yayevam Veda. It starts with Yayevam Veda and then Upase. So the word Upasana and Veda are interchangeably used in Veda. Hence Tadvishaye Sravanat. So Vedana should be taken as Upasana. Siddhantu Upasana Sabdat. Hence it is understood in that sense. And how you get it? Upasanam Syat. Dhruva Smriti Darsanat. So this can be Upasana. It leads to Dhruva Smriti. Say in Chandogya, we have the idea Ahara Suddhav Sattva Suddhihi, Sattva Suddhav Dhruva Smritihi. That particular idea is presented. So Dhruva Smriti Darsanat. That sort of Dhruva Smriti is presented. And what is Dhruva Smriti? Vakyakara uses the concept of Dhruva Smriti. He gives, that is, Viveka, Vimoka, Abhyasa, Kriya, Kalyana, Anavasada, Anudharsha. These are the 7 characteristics. For example, first comes Viveka. Viveka is our discrimination. Discrimination is how we have to conduct ourselves. That sort of discrimination. That is Kaya Suddhi. It is basically, essentially, we have to, what is called the purity of not only mind, purity of body also. We should not commit any mistake. The not committing any mistake start with from our food. So we know pretty well, if the food is disturbed, our health also get disturbed. So from the food. And then Vimoka, no desires, no wrong desires. And then Abhyasa. Abhyasa is practice. Regularly we have to practice what is called, what is being given. That is retention of these experiences. Practice is to retain those experiences. Kriya, Mahayagnescha Yagnescha Brahmiyam Kriyate Tanuho. As Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So we have to, Lord also says in the Agamas, that is Shruti Smriti Mamaivajne Yastam Ullangya Vartade. Vedas and Smritis are my orders and people have to follow them. And then that is called Kalyana. That's why that is in the Vaishnava tradition. Swasmai Supritiya Swayameva Karayati. That sort of following it. Anavasada. Anavasada is not giving oneself to depression. That is Desakala Vaigunya can be there, and Soka's past Soka experiences will be there, and we should not be disturbed by this Desakala Vaigunya, etc. We should not allow ourselves to be overpowered by, and Anudharsha, we should not have excessive joy also. We should not, when something happy happens, we should not become excessively overpowered by that. So we should be able to control ourselves in all these things. That sort of, what is called, that starts from Ahara Suddhi. So when Ahara Suddhi starts, Dhruvanusmriti. Dhruvanusmriti is constant meditation, Nididhyasana. So Sravana, Manana and Nididhyasana, that constant meditation happens to be there. And the constant meditation, Paramaikanti is not everybody. Paramaikanti, it is agamic term. Paramaikanti is to the exclusion of everything. One who is devoted to. So the puja, etc. given by Paramaikanti is that start of Dhruvanusmriti, one who has got that Dhruvanusmriti. So that Dhruvanusmriti gives darsana here itself as if he is seeing the Lord, as if his Lord is with himself, though he behaves. Say, as example, in Mahabhakta Vijaya, etc., when we see such great people who have got, even Alvars and all those people, those who feel as if God is by their side themselves. So, in this way, this particular idea has been given by Vakyakara, and those points have been made use of by Ramanuja. And just two more points I will ask. Mimamsakas say we perform yaga, and the result of yaga is Swarga. But when the Swarga is there, the yaga is action. Action being temporary. That is, the moment action is the association of so many rights. Every action may last only for a few moments, and then it is over. It is what is called removed by next action. So in this way, action cannot be permanent. But Swarga happens to be at the end of the life, only when the body falls. And if somebody is given immediately after the performing the yaga, you will get the Swarga. Nobody will be prepared to perform yaga because that means death. So after the yaga, it creates certain what is called samskaras. That samskara, Mimamsaka terms it as apurva, something like punya. And then at the end of the body, when one goes to Swarga, the apurva is responsible for Swarga Anubhava. So apurva has to be accepted. This is Mimamsaka's view. Generally, all the people subscribe to this. But Vedantins, they don't subscribe because it amounts to yaga themselves give this apurva and they give the result. So yaga gives the result. It happens like that. But it cannot happen like that. The result has to come from an intelligent authority. Phalamata upapattehe. Ishvara should be there. Ishvara alone is phaladata, phaladhyaksha and phaladata. Ishvara should be there. And Dramidacharya, he uses the word, what is called the concept of Ishvara as phaladata is introduced to criticize. Dramidacharya also is a Mimamsaka. And Dramidacharya introduced the concept of the criticism of what is called the Apurva. And he introduced the concept of Ishvara as Paladata. Dramidacharya's point, Ramanuja introduces with this quotation in Vedartha Sangraha. He says, Kimiti Apurvam Ashriyate, Ramanuja's statement. Why do you introduce Apurva? In order to give Pala, Swargakama Pada Samabhivyahara. That is, whether it is Swargakama is there, since Swargakama is Yajeta, Swargakamo Yajeta, Swarga and Yajeta Yaga. Both of them are not what is called contemporaneous with time and space. They are separated. So there cannot be a cause and effect relationship. In order to introduce a cause and effect relationship, which are what is called presented as a cause and effect in the same sentence, do you introduce an operation called Apurva? So Katra Anupapatihi, say that man is interested in getting Swarga. And if you need Apurva, because yaga is Chanabhangini, if yaga is an action, being an action, it is temporary. And hence, if you introduce the concept of Apurva in order to relate yaga as the cause of Swarga, Ramanuja uses the word Anagrata Veda Siddhantanam Iyam Anupapatihi. This impropriety, this incompatibility, that is towards Mimamsaka. This incompatibility which Mimamsaka posits in this particular idea is not having Anagrata, who has not even tasted Veda Siddhanta. He chastises, he castigates Mimamsaka as Anagrata, not even smelt Vedic ideas. Sarvaihi karmabihi aradhita parameshwaraha. When you perform actions, Parameshwara becomes aradhita, he becomes worshipped. Bhagavan Narayanaha tatadishtam phalam dadati. So Lord Narayana gives the result. Iti Vedavid agresaraha vadanti. So Vedavid agresara, that is the leading, the scholar on Veda, he says, Yadahu Vedavid agresaraha Dravidacharyaha. So the leading Vedic scholar Dravidacharyaha, he quotes Dravidacharya's view. Phala sambhivatsayahi karmabihi atmanam piprishanti Sapritaha alam palaya. The Lord, when becomes pleased by this karma, alam palaya, he is enough capable to sanction all the fruit. It is Shastra Maryada. This is the Vedic view. And the view that Apurva is sanctioning the fruits is not correct. That becomes inert. That is insentient. Apurva is insentient. It will not be able to sanction the fruit. There is one more thing, as I said, the upasanas, that is Atmaika, whether how, say for example, the idea, the famous question, that is the Upanishad has got the 3 sentences, Abheda Vakyas, Bheda Vakyas, and then Gataka Vakyas, as they say. That is, there are some Vakyas like Tatvamasi, which identifies Jiva and Brahman. And some Vakyas which say Jiva and Brahman are totally different, like Dvasuparna, Saija, Sagaya. And there are some Vakyas which what is called reconcile both the different and non-different views. Yoha Atmano Antaraha, Yam Atmana Veda, Ya Atmano Antaram Yameti, Tasya Yeshata Atma. That is one who is Atma within the Atma. That is the Paramatma who happens to be Atma within the Jivatma. Like that. There are 3 types of sentences. Now, if there is a difference, that if Jivatma is different from Paramatma, if Paramatma were to be within the Jivatma as its Atma, how to interpret the what is called Abheda Vakyas? This also is given by Vakyakara in the Sutra Atme Vetitu. It is Upanishad Vakyas also there. Atme Tyeva Grinniyat. The Paramatma is to be taken as Atma. That is Atma of Atma. That is Shariri. Atma becomes Yeshata Atma. That is the Shariram. The Jivatma becomes Sharira for the Shariri, namely Paramatma. So he has to see that he is your real Atma. This is how one has to be seen, and that is how it is to be. Meditation is to be bird. So Karyavastaha, Karanavastascha, Stula, Sukshma, Chidachit Sariraha, Paramaiveti, Sarvasya, Tan Nishpatteriti Yuktam. So this is how it is called Ahangrahopasana. That is Aham Graha. That is within Aham, within the ego sense, this Upasana is to be done. That is, he is there within our Atma. So this is how, and this Sarira is Tallabdihi, how you get it. Bhakyakara, Viveka, Vimoka, Abhyasa, and all those things are given. So Dhruvanusmriti will be there. And that is in Chandogya, there is one more important quotation, that is Sasarirasya Priya Priyayor Apahatirasti Asariram by Priya Priya Nas Prasataha. As long as so these are all Advaitins take as very conducive to them. As long as a person has been associated with Sarira, he will be tainted by pleasure and pain, because pleasure and pain, Bhogaitana, Sarira is called Bhogaitana. And since Sarira is the source of all pleasure and pain, through Sarira we enjoy it. As long as there is contact with the Sarira, that is Panchabhautika Sarira, one will suffer. When the Panchabhautika gets what is called divested of all these things, then he becomes free. So this is how it can be seen. But Dravidacharya describes this in a different way. He says, Yatha Loke Raja, I'm not quoting because I am exceeding the time given to me by Mr. T.K. Parsarvi. I will just try to within a few minutes. I will just not quoting. This is given in the 14th Sutra in the first pada of second Adhyaya in Sri Bhashya. Say, for example, a king is there, but the king's country is infested with mosquitoes, flies, and all those things. But even though king's country is infested with the flies, mosquitoes, they cannot be destroyed. But the king becomes free by what is called by fan and all those things, using by fan, Vajana and all those things. He only not is free. He makes his courtiers and subject also free from all these problems. So as a king makes what is called himself free and comfortable, and makes his countrymen also comfortable, so also Asharira, that is the God, also becomes what is called makes everybody free. This is how the idea is interpreted. That is the Dravidacharya's interpretation. That is quoted by Ramanuja and that particular under that particular, while citing that particular Upanishadic passage. This is how some of the, I have taken a few passages which I consider important in contrast with the Advaitic view, and which may be important in framing or forming or developing Visishtadvaita philosophy. And to the best extent possible, I have tried to present the early phase of Visishtadvaita. Full books are not available, full philosophy are not available, but still I tried to present. And as they say, always anything good, anything correct, anything clear, which I have, which you find in my lecture, all the things go to my teachers, their grace, and it is their blessings, and the mistakes are mine. And please bear with me as they Shamam Yache. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, really. I now request Dr. M.A. Venkatakrishnan to give his expert comment on this. Venkatakrishnan, sir, please.
Just a minute, please.
Yes.
Everybody is able to hear, I think.
Yes, sir.
sir.
Very much audible.
I am extremely delighted to participate in a beautiful, scintillating lecture by Dr. K. Srinivasan, who is very, very close to me for more than about 4 decades, I should say, more than 4 decades. Because when I joined as a student in Vivekananda College in the year BA Sanskrit in the year 1972, when I was studying in the second year, Srinivasan joined as a first year student then. That is, I think Srinivasan is just younger by me for about 1 year. He is 1 year junior to me. And then we together studied up to MA Sanskrit in Vivekananda College. That is for about, that is 3 plus 2, 5 years, after which that is 5 years. And immediately we both joined the same institution as lecturers. That is, there also I think there is just about a gap of 1 year. From that day onwards, we both were teaching classes till 1986. That is, in that year, I left for the Madras University to take position in the Department of Vaishnavism. So, from the year 1973 up to 1970, that is 86, for about 13 years, we were together and we were meeting daily for several hours. And as all of you know, that Srinivasan is a voracious reader. That is, nobody can be compared to to him in that particular aspect. Because even I can't read those books. That is books like Dr. K. Srinivasan. That is, his interests are varied. Though he has mastered Advaita under the great guidance of Sri Brahmashri Kalyana Sundara Shastrigal. That is, he not only studied Advaita in the college, but also he studied that is privately under Shastrigal for several years. In fact, I think he is the most prominent student among Kalyana Sundara Shastrigal students. And he is the first disciple, I should say. And while working in the college, naturally, we both will argue together for so many points. Always I will be staunchly supporting Visishtadvaita and he will be staunchly supporting Advaita. And then there will be a small debate between, though probably we were not very big scholars at that time. See, whatever we have studied, we will be with debating that which is correct, Advaita or Visishtadvaita. Anyhow, see, nobody can say which point is correct because they were great saints, either Shankara or Ramanuja, and they have given their own ideas of explanation on the Upanishads. And here we are not to judge which is correct or which is not correct. We can only study their works. That we understand. இருந்தாலும் அந்த காலத்துல ஒரு ஒரு ஜாலியா நாங்க ரெண்டு பேரும் ஆர்கியூ பண்ணிப்போம். அதுவும் சீனிவாசனுக்கு எனக்கும் க்ளோஸ் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஷிப் எப்படின்னாக்கா ரெண்டு பேரும் வாடா போடான்னு தான் பேசிப்போம். எங்களுக்கு அவ்வளோ க்ளோஸ். இந்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் நடுவிலேயே கூட எனக்கும் சீனிவாசனுக்கும் இருந்த ஒரு க்ளோஸ் அசோசியேஷன் வந்து என்னோட கூட படித்த மற்ற ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸுக்கோ அதே மாதிரி சீனிவாசனோட கூட படித்த மற்ற ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸுக்கோ கூட கிடையாது. அது சீனிவாசனே சொல்லுவாருன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். சீனிவாசனோட கூட பாலசுப்ரமணியம், குமாரசாமி, இன்னும் 2-3 பேர் அவனோட படித்தா சீனிவாசனோட கிளாஸ்மேட்ஸு. என்னோட கிளாஸ்மேட்டுனாக்கா ஸ்ரீதர்னு ஒருத்தன் படித்தான், வாசன் ரமணன் ஒருத்தன் படித்தான். வாசன் ரமணன் வாஸ் ஆல்சோ லேட்டர் ஜாயின்ட் விவேகானந்தா காலேஜ் அஸ் அ ஸ்டாஃப் அண்ட் ஐ திங்க் ஹி ஹஸ் ஆல்சோ நவ் ரிட்டையர்ட். அது இருக்கட்டும். அப்படி இருக்கிற பொழுது இந்த 5-6 பேர் இருந்தாலும் கூட பர்டிகுலர்லி மைசெல்ஃப் அண்ட் சீனிவாசன் வேர் வெரி வெரி க்ளோஸ் அண்ட் போத் ஆஃப் us will be fighting with each other. அது ரெண்டும் உண்டு எங்களுக்குள்ள. அவ்வளோ க்ளோஸ் அசோசியேஷன் இருந்தது. இதை கூட சீனிவாசனுடைய டைப் என்னன்னாக்கா ஒரு விஷயத்தை தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னு சொன்னாக்கா ஜஸ்ட் லைக் தட் அப்படி மேம்போக்கா நுனிப்புல் மேயற விஷயமே கிடையாது சீனிவாசன். he will go very much deep into the subject. அதுக்கு என்ன புக் இருக்கு, அதுக்கு என்ன புக் இருக்கு, அதுக்கு என்ன புக் இருக்குன்னு தேடி ஈவன் ஐ திங்க் he has studied some Buddhist work under some scholars. புத்திசத்துல என்ன இருக்குதுன்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும்ன்றதுக்கு என்ன பண்ணினாரா, புத்திசத்துல எத்தனை ஸ்கூல்ஸ் இருக்கு, அது எந்தெந்த ஸ்கூல்ல என்னென்ன சொல்றது எல்லாத்தையும் அவர் போய் உட்காந்து டீப்பா அதெல்லாம் கூட படிச்சிருக்காரு சீனிவாசன். அந்த அளவுக்குலாம் நான் அந்த மற்ற சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸுக்கெல்லாம் நான் போகல. என்னுடைய பிரின்சிபலும் அவருடைய பிரின்சிபல் கொஞ்சம் வித்தியாசம். என்னன்னு கேட்டா அவருடைய இந்த 2 விதம் சொல்லுவா. அகல உழறதுன்னு ஒன்று சொல்லுவா, ஆழ உழறதுன்னு ஒன்று சொல்லுவா. அகல உழறதுன்னா நல்லா எக்ஸ்பேண்டிங், அந்த லேண்டை இது பண்ணிட்டு போறது. ஆழ உழறதுன்னா ஒரே இடத்துலயே டீப்பா போறது. என்னுடைய பிரின்சிபல் ஸ்டடி பூரா எப்படி இருந்ததுன்னா என் சப்ஜெக்ட் விசிஷ்டாத்வைதா, அதுல எவ்வளவு டீப்பா போக முடியுமோ அவ்வளோ டீப்பா போகணும்னு நான் அது மட்டும் தான் பண்ணினேன். பட் சீனிவாசன் வித் இஸ் வர்சடைல் நாலேஜ் அண்ட் நல்ல ஒரு இதனால வாஸ்டா சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் நிறைய படித்தார். அதனால ஈவன் ஆஃப்டர் மை ரிட்டையர்மெண்ட் we had so many discussions over phone or even ஏதாவது செமினார்ல பார்த்தா கூட பேசுவோம், எல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு இருப்போம். அந்த மாதிரிலாம் இருந்தோம். அண்ட் 2 பேருக்குமே வந்து பகவான் நல்ல அனுகிரகத்தை பண்ணினார். 1986 I left the college and went to the university and I was able to develop a separate department of Vaishnavism. அதுல ஆரம்பத்திலே இருந்து பண்ணி கடைசியில HOD ரிட்டையர் ஆகிற அளவுக்கு எனக்கு அந்த ஒரு பெருமை கிடைச்சது. அதே மாதிரி சீனிவாசனுக்கும் அந்த இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன்ல எது ஹையஸ்ட் பொசிஷனோ அந்த பொசிஷன், தட் இஸ் he retired as the principal of the விவேகானந்தா காலேஜ்னு சொன்னா தட் இஸ் a very big credit. சம்ஸ்கிருதம் வாச்சவாளுக்கெல்லாம் ஒரு பெருமை. என்ன பெருமைன்னா சம்ஸ்கிருதம் வாச்சவர் ஒருத்தர் பிரின்சிபால் ஆவறதுன்றது ரொம்ப ரேர். இப்பெல்லாம் அதெல்லாம் யாரும் பண்றதே கிடையாது. ஆனா அந்த காலத்துல சீனிவாசன் அதை எப்படியோ அவருக்கு அந்த அதிர்ஷ்டம் கிடைத்தது, பகவானுடைய அனுகிரகம் இருந்தது, அவருக்கு வந்தார் என்பதில் எனக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். ஸோ வித் தீஸ் ரெஃபரன்ஸ் வித் சீனிவாசன் ரிகார்டிங் தி சப்ஜெக்ட் ரொம்ப, அதாவது ப்ரீ ராமானுஜா விசிஷ்டாத்வைதா அப்படின்ற ஒரு சப்ஜெக்டை எடுத்துன்னு சொன்னார். அதுல அவர் சொன்ன மாதிரி ஒரு முக்கியமான சமாச்சாரம் என்னன்னு கேட்டா, விசிஷ்டாத்வைதா வாஸ் நாட் ஃபவுண்டட் பை ராமானுஜா. In the same way, Advaita was not founded by Shankara. They are only profounders. They only propagated the philosophy which existed before them. That is, those what we say is those philosophies are ever existing. அது வந்து இன்னைக்கு அத்வைதம்ன்ற பிலாசபி இன்னைக்கு ஆரம்பிச்சதுன்னு சொல்றதுக்கு ஒரு டேட் கிடையாது. அதே போல விசிஷ்டாத்வைதம்ன்ற பிலாசபி இன்னைக்கு ஆரம்பிச்சதுன்றதுக்கு ஒரு டேட் கிடையாது. Because all these philosophies are that is studied only that is through the Upanishadic text, and Upanishads are eternal text. அப்படி இருக்கிற பொழுது உபனிஷத்துல அத்வைதம் தான் சொல்றதுன்னு சொன்னா அந்த அத்வைதம் இஸ் ஆல்சோ எட்டர்னல்னு அர்த்தமாயிடுது. இல்ல உபனிஷத்து விசிஷ்டாத்வைதம் தான் சொல்றதுன்னு சொன்னா அது எட்டர்னல்னு ஆயிடுது. ஸோ இந்த சிஸ்டம்ஸும் எட்டர்னல், இந்த சிஸ்டம்ஸுக்குள்ள இருக்கிற டிபேட்ஸோ கான்ஃபிளிக்ஸோ அதுவும் எட்டர்னல், எல்லாம் எட்டர்னல் தான். அந்தந்த பிலாசபியை சேர்ந்தவா அந்தந்த பிலாசபியை உண்டான பெருமைகளை சொல்லி வருகிறார்கள். அதுல இந்த விசிஷ்டாத்வைதாவுக்கும் அத்வைதாவுக்கும் ஒரு நெருங்கின தொடர்பு உண்டு. என்ன க்ளோஸ் ப்ராக்சிமிட்டினா, வித்தவுட் ஸ்டடியிங் அத்வைதா one cannot study Visishtadvaita at all. That is why Ramanuja in his Sribhashya also summarizes the Advaita philosophy in two particular sections, that is Laghu Purva Paksha and Maha Purva Paksha. அந்த பூர்வ பட்சம்னு சொல்லி அத்வைத்தத்தை சொல்றார். அடிக்கடி எங்க ப்ரொஃபசர் டாக்டர் வீடிநாதன், who was my PhD guide in the Department of Sanskrit, Madras University, Dr. Vidinathan used to say that once our Vidinathan is a very great exponent of Advaita philosophy, all of you know, I think. But அவர் என்ன சொல்லுவார்னு கேட்டா, அத்வைதா பிலாசபியை பத்தி நீங்க எந்த சந்தேகம் இல்லாம நன்னா தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும், உங்களுக்கு சுருக்கமா ஷார்ட்டா தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னா you will have to read Mahapurva Paksha of Sribhashya by Ramanujan சொல்லுவார். அதாவது அத்வைத பிலாசபிய அத்வைதிகள் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றதை விட ராமானுஜர் அவ்வளவு நன்னா எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணியிருக்கார் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவார். வீடிநாதன் அடிக்கடி சொல்லுவார் அது கிளாஸ்ல. எதுக்கு சொல்றேன்னா, அந்த அளவுக்கு அத்வைதத்தை ஸ்டடி பண்ணின பிற்பாடுதான் ராமானுஜருக்கு விசிஷ்டாத்வைதத்தை அவர் தனியா அதை இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் நன்றாக டெவலப் பண்ணியிருக்கார். அது ப்ரீ ராமானுஜா அத்வைதான் விசிஷ்டாத்வைதான்னு சொல்ற பொழுது அவர் சில ரெஃபரன்சஸ் எல்லாம் கொடுத்தார். எல்லாம் நான் கூட வேதார்த்த சங்கிரகத்தில் இருக்கிற ரெஃபரன்சஸ் தான். பட் ஒன் கொஸ்டின் ஐ வாண்ட் டு ஆஸ்க் ஹிம், ஜஸ்ட் எனக்கு இருக்கிற டவுட் இது என்னன்னாக்கா, he referred to the Vritti Grantha of Bodhayana, that is about so many thousands of granthas அப்படின்னு இந்த விருத்தி கிரந்தத்தை பத்தின டீட்டெயில் சொன்னார் அவர். அதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த விருத்தி கிரந்தத்துக்கு பிற்காடு வந்த வாக்கியக்காரர், அப்புறம் விருத்திக்காரர் என்ன அவளுடைய கிரந்தங்கள் டங்க, கபர்ஜி, குஹதேவா அப்படின்னு, திரமிடாச்சாரியா அப்படின்னு பல ரெஃபரன்சஸ் எல்லாம் சொல்லி அவர்களுடைய ஒர்க்கை பத்தியும் ரெஃபரன்ஸ் கொடுத்தார். Is any of these works available now for study? That I want to know. Any work, Bodhayana's Vritti Grantham, it seems அது கூட இப்ப இல்லைன்னு தான் எல்லாரும் சொல்றாங்க. I think even Vivekananda in one of his works he said that I was searching for Bodhayana Vritti Grantha in several places, but I could not find even one single text அப்படின்னு அவர் எழுதியிருக்காரு. அதை பத்தி ஞாபகம் எனக்கு. அதனால இந்த போதாயன விருத்தி கிரந்தமோ அந்த போதாயன விருத்தி கிரந்தத்தை சார்ந்து எழுதப்பட்டதாக சொல்லப்படுகிற இந்த டங்க, குஹதேவா, கபர்ஜி, பாருச்சி, திரமிடாச்சாரியா இவா எழுதின ஒர்க்ல ஏதாவது ஒர்க்காவது இப்போ அவைலபிளா இருக்கு. ஏன்னா டாக்டர் சீனிவாசன் வாஸ் ரெஃபரிங் டு சம் ஆஃப் தோஸ் ஒர்க்ஸ். ஒன் இஸ் விருத்தி கிரந்தா அண்ட் ஒன் இஸ் டீகா and this in the form of slokas and that is in the form of prose and அப்படின்னெல்லாம் சொன்னார். அப்படின்னா அந்த ஒர்க்கை பார்த்து சொன்னாரா இல்ல அந்த ஒர்க்கை பத்தின ரெஃபரன்சஸ் வச்சு சொன்னாரான்னு எனக்கு தெரியல. That I want to know, is there any work available of the previous acharyas? அது கடைசியில சீனிவாசன் if he highlights, that will be very useful for me to எனக்கும் அதை ஸ்டடி பண்றதுக்கு யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும். ஒன் திங், இந்த ஒரு லெக்சர்ல நான் ஆக்சுவலா நானே புதுசா தெரிஞ்சிட்ட ஒரு விஷயம் என்னன்னு சொன்னாக்கா, சங்கரா வாஸ் ஆல்சோ டிபெண்டிங் அப்பான் போதாயன விருத்தி கிரந்தா ஃபார் சம் ஆஃப் ஹிஸ் எக்ஸ்பிளனேஷன்ஸ் அவர் சொன்னார். நான் ஐ தாட் தட் போதாயனா வாஸ் பியூர் அண்ட் பூர் விசிஷ்டாத்வைத்தியம். தட் இஸ் வை Ramanuja also wanted to see the Bodhayana Vritti Grantha and wanted to write Sribhashya. But as Srinivasan put it, so Bodhayana Vritti Grantha is also like Brahma Sutra. அது பிகாஸ் எல்லாருமே அதை இந்த பேசிக் டெக்ஸ்டா வச்சுருந்தான்னு சொன்னது எனக்கு கூட இந்த ஒரு நியூ இந்த இன்சைட்டை கொடுத்துருக்கு. அதை பற்றி எனக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். அவளுடைய விசிஷ்டாத்வைதா ப்ரீ ராமானுஜா விசிஷ்டாத்வைத்தான்னு சொன்னா ஆழ்வார்களுடைய பாசுரங்கள்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய விசிஷ்டாத்வைத்தா அதை நம்ம மறக்கவே முடியாது. ஏன்னா நம்ம சம்பிரதாயத்துல என்ன கான்செப்ட் வச்சுருக்கோம்னாக்கா, பாஷ்யக்காரர் இது கொண்டு சூத்திர வாக்கியங்கள் ஒருங்க விடுவர் என்று அழகமனவாள பெருமாள் நாயனார் ஆச்சாரியர் அருளி செய்கிறார். அதனால ராமானுஜா வாட் எவர் ஹி ரோட் ஆன் ஸ்ரீபாஷ்யா, ஆல் ஆஃப் ஹிஸ் கான்செப்ட்ஸ் ஆர் பேஸ்ட் ஒன்லி ஆன் தி ஒர்க்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஆழ்வார்ஸ் அப்படின்னு ஸ்பெசிபிக்கா சொல்லி, அது உடன்மிசை உயிரென கரந்தெங்கும் பரந்துளன் என்று நம்மாழ்வார் அருளி செய்த அந்த ஸ்ரீசூக்தி தான் இந்த சரீர பாவம் சரீரி பாவம் என்று விசிஷ்டாத்வைத்தத்துல அவர் கொண்டிருக்கிற கான்செப்ட். அதே மாதிரி நம்மாழ்வாருடைய இன்னொரு பாசுரத்துல அனைத்துலகம் தன்னுள் நிற்க தானும் அவற்றுள் நிற்கும் பிரான் என்றெல்லாம் நம்மாழ்வார் அருளி செய்கிறார். அதெல்லாம் ராமானுஜருக்கு அடிப்படை பிரம்மசூத்திர பாஷ்யத்தை எழுதுறதுக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இதெல்லாம் நம்ம பெரியவர்கள் எடுத்து காட்டி இருக்கிறார்கள். உபய வேதாந்த ஐக்க கட்டியம் அப்படின்னு புக்ஸே எழுதியிருக்கா. அந்த மாதிரிலாம் இருக்கு. அதனால இந்த ப்ரீ ராமானுஜா விசிஷ்டாத்வைத்தால ஆழ்வார்ஸ் ரோல் அதை கூட கொஞ்சம் நம்ம நிறைய நினைவில் கொள்ள வேண்டும் என்று தெரிவிக்கிறார். அது தவிர ஆளவந்தாருடைய கீதார்த்த சங்கிரகம், ஏன்னா நாதமுனிகள் என்ன ஒர்க் பண்ணினார்ன்றது நமக்கு தெரியல. அந்த ஒர்க் எதுவும் நமக்கு கிடைக்கல. பண்ணினார், ஆனா அது கிடைக்கல. ஆளவந்தார் அருளி செய்த கிரந்தத்துல நமக்கு சித்தித்திரயம்ன்றது கிடைச்சிருக்கு. அது பூரா விசிஷ்டாத்வைத்தனுடைய பேஸ் தான் மொத்தம் சித்தித்திரயம். அதே போல கீதார்த்த சங்கிரகம் அது விசிஷ்டாத்வைத்த பரமான கீதையினுடைய வியாக்கியானம்னு தெரியுது. இந்த சித்தித்திரயம் தான் ராமானுஜருடைய ஸ்ரீபாஷ்யத்துக்கு பேஸ் என்னும், கீதார்த்த சங்கிரகம் தான் ஸ்ரீ ராமானுஜருடைய கீதா பாஷ்யத்திற்கு அடிப்படை என்றும் பெரியவர்கள் சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. ஸ்தோத்திரத்தனன்றது கத்தியத்திரயத்துக்கு அடிப்படை என்று ராமானுஜருடைய நூல்களுக்கெல்லாம் அடிப்படை ஸ்ரீ ராமானுஜ ஆளவந்தாருடைய ஒர்க்கு தான் பெரியவர்கள் எடுத்து காட்டியிருக்கா. அதனால ப்ரீ ராமானுஜா விசிஷ்டாத்வைத்தான்னு சொன்னா அந்த சித்தித்திரயத்தில் இருக்கிற விஷயங்கள், அதே போல கீதார்த்த சங்கரத்தில் இருக்கிற விஷயங்கள், இதையெல்லாம் கூட நம்ம கருத்திலே கொள்ள வேண்டும் என்பதுதான். அது மாதிரி விஷயங்கள் எல்லாம் கோடி காட்டினார் ஸ்ரீனிவாசன். பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் ஃபார் வாண்ட் ஆஃப் டைம் he could not explain each and every point I understand. And with these words I think I can conclude my remark. Really this is a very wonderful lecture. He was not only talking about pre Ramanuja Visishtadvaita, he was also talking several things about Mimamsa and other things. அதெல்லாம் பத்தி கூட நிறைய விஷயங்கள் எப்படி அதுல எப்படி இருக்கு இதுல எப்படி இருக்குன்றதெல்லாம் கம்பேர் பண்ணி சொன்னதெல்லாம் எல்லாருக்கும் ரொம்ப ரிசர்ச் ஸ்காலருக்கு ரொம்ப யூஸ்ஃபுல் இதுவா இருந்திருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். Now the only thing, is there any work available of, அதாவது அந்த போதாயன விருத்தி கிரந்தத்திலேருந்து ஆரம்பிச்சு இந்த டங்கா, திரமிட, குகதேவா, பாருச்சி, கபர்தி இவருடைய ஒர்க் ஏதாவது அவைலபிளான்றத எனக்கு சொன்னா இன்னும் அது யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும்.
ஹலோ.
Yes.
Thank you sir for your beautiful nice references. எந்த ஒர்க்குமே அவைலபிள் இல்லை. Only as I said, totally 57 quotations are available.
அது சரி. அது ஸ்ரீபாஷ்யத்திலயும் அந்த மாதிரி quotations அவைலபிளா இருக்கு, அவ்வளவுதான்.
ஸ்ரீபாஷ்யம், வேதார்த்த சங்கிரகம், சங்கரருடைய சூத்திர பாஷ்ய, உபனிஷத் பாஷ்யங்கள், அதுக்கப்புறம் சங்கரருடைய வியாக்கியாத்தாக்களுடைய, அப்புறம் தந்திரவார்த்திகத்துல இவர் குமாரில பட்டர். சோ இவ எல்லாருமே இந்த மாதிரி யார் யாரெல்லாம் பிராச்சீனால இருந்திருக்காளோ அவ எல்லாம் கோட் பண்ணியிருக்கா. அவ கோட் பண்ணின வாக்கியங்கள் மொத்த கொட்டேஷன் எல்லாத்தையுமே சகலத்தையும் சேர்த்து பிடிச்சு பார்த்தோம்னா 57 கொட்டேஷன் அவைலபிளா இருக்கு. அதாவது போதாயனர், பிரம்மநந்தி, திரவிடாச்சாரியர் இவா 3 பேருடைய கொட்டேஷன் 57 அவைலபிள். அதுலதான் தரவலியே. ஏன்னா 57 2 பேருமே அத்வைதி விசிஷ்டாத்வைதி 2 பேருமே கோட் பண்றதுனால பிரம்மநந்தியும் திரமிடாச்சாரியரும் அத்வைதியா விசிஷ்டாத்வைதியா தெரியல. ஏன்னா இவாளுக்கு கோட் பண்றது பூர்வபட்ச இடத்துல இருந்து கோட் பண்றாளா, சித்தாந்த இடத்துல இருந்து கோட் பண்றாளா, வாஸ்தவத்துல அவ யாரு? உண்மையில வாக்கியக்காரர், நான் அதெல்லாம் இங்க சொல்லல. சித்தந்து நிவர்த்த கத்துவாத் முதல்ல ஆரம்பத்துல சொன்ன திரமிடாச்சாரியுடைய வாக்கியம், தத்துவமசிக்கு வியாக்கியானம் பண்றதே அவளுடைய வியாக்கியானம் தான் முக்கியமான வியாக்கியானமா இருக்கு. சங்கராச்சாரியரே அதை கோட் பண்றார். சோ இதெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் என்ன சொல்றது, நம்மளுக்கு கொஞ்சம் நிரடலான இடங்கள் தான், நிறைய விஷயங்கள் இருக்கு.
For that matter, even வேதவியாசா பிரம்மசூத்திரத்தினுடைய ஆதர், அவர் இப்ப அத்வைத்தியா விசிஷ்டாத்வைத்தியான்னு கேட்டா என்ன சொல்ல முடியும்? 2 பேரும் அவவா சொல்லிக்கிற மாதிரி தான். அதேதான்,
அது சோர்ஸ் புக்கா போயிடுது. அது சோர்ஸ் புக்கா போயிட்டதுனால 2 பேருக்கும் காமன், 2 பேருக்கும் தெரியும் அது காமன்னு. அவ இதுல முழு புக்கு அவைலபிளா இல்ல. அதனால எந்த பக்கம் எடுத்து இவா வியாக்கியாத்தாவா இருக்கா, சோர்ஸா இல்ல வியாக்கியாத்தாவா இருக்கா. நான் அந்த விஷயங்கள் சிலது உள்ளுக்குள்ள ரொம்ப போல. உண்மையில இப்ப இது பண்றோம் இல்லையா, வியாச பூஜை பண்றோமோ இல்லையோ, அதாவது குரு பூர்ணிமான்னு வருது. குரு பூர்ணிமால என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா, அத்வைத சம்பிரதாயத்துல தங்களுடைய குரு எல்லாம் யார் யார் இருக்காளோ அவ எல்லாரையும் ஆவாகனம் பண்ணி பூஜை பண்ற பிரக்கிரியை உண்டு. ஒரு 30 பேரை ஆவாகனம் பண்ணி 30 பஞ்சகம்னு சொல்லுவா, 6 பஞ்சகம்னு பண்ணணும். அதுல திரவிடாச்சாரிய பஞ்சகம்னே ஒரு பஞ்சகம் இருக்கு. அதுல திரவிடாச்சாரியரை ஆவாகனம் பண்ணியே அதாவது வியாச பூஜையில அத்வைத சம்பிரதாயத்துல திரவிடாச்சாரியரை ஆவாகனம் பண்ணியே பூஜை பண்ற சம்பிரதாயம் இருக்கு. பூஜை பண்ற சம்பிரதாயம் இருக்கு. எங்கேயோ ஒரு சம்பிரதாயத்துல இல்ல. சோ இப்ப நம்மளுக்கு இருக்கிற பரம்பரையில அந்த பரம்பரையில திரவிடாச்சாரியர் அன்வயமாகலையே ஒழிய வேற ஒரு சம்பிரதாயத்துல அவர் அன்வயம் ஆயிருக்கலாம். வேற ஒரு சம்பிரதாய சன்னியாசியா இருந்திருக்கலாம். அத்வைத சன்னியாசியா, விசிஷ்டாத்வைத சன்னியா, திருதண்டியா ஏகதண்டியா தெரியல.
இதுல ஒரு இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் பாயிண்ட் ஒன்னு சொல்றேன். யாரோ ஒருத்தர் எங்கேயோ எழுதியிருந்தார். அப்கோர்ஸ் தட் ஐ எம் நாட் சப்ஸ்கிரைபிங் டு தட் வியூ ஆர் ஐ எம் சப்போர்ட்டிங் தட் வியூ. என்ன எழுதியிருந்தாருனாக்கா, நம்மாழ்வாருடைய இந்த திருவாய்மொழியை பத்தி நாதமுனிகள் சொல்லச்சே நமாமியம் திராவிட வேத சாகரம்னு சொல்றார். திருவாய்மொழியை திராவிட வேத சாகரம்னு சொல்றார். அதனால திரவிடாச்சாரியர் நம்மாழ்வார் தான் ஒருத்தர் எழுதியிருந்தார். நம்மாழ்வார் தான் திரவிடாச்சாரியர், ஏன்னா அவர் திரவிட வேதம் பண்ணினவர். அதனால திராவிட வேதம் திரவிட வேதம் ரெண்டும் ஒண்ணு தானே. அதனால திரவிடாச்சாரியர் தான் நம்மாழ்வார், அதைத்தான் ராமானுஜர் திரவிடாச்சாரியர்னு சொல்றார் அப்படின்னு ஒருத்தர் எழுதியிருக்கார். இதெல்லாம் வந்து
அது ஒண்ணு. அது இன்னொன்னு வருது. யாமனார் வந்து என்ன பண்றாருன்னா திரமிட பாஷ்ய கிருதா அப்படின்னு ஒரு வார்த்தை யாமனார் யூஸ் பண்றார். இந்த திரமிட பாஷ்ய கிருதாங்கிற வார்த்தையில அது திரவிடாச்சாரியர்னு, அது திரவிடாச்சாரியர்ன்ற வார்த்தையை அது குறிக்காது. திரமிட பாஷ்ய கிருதான்னா திரமிட பாஷையில பாஷ்யம் எழுதினவர்னு சொல்லணும், அதுல ஏதோ ஒரு உரை எழுதினவர்னு சொல்லணும். ஆனா அதை திரமிடாச்சாரியர்னு அதே மாதிரி அதை திரமிடாச்சாரியர்னு பண்ற இன்டர்பிரேஷன் வந்துருச்சு. நிறைய வந்து என்ன ஆகும் அந்தந்த நேரத்துல
அவ்வளவுதான் இன்டர்பிரேஷன் தானே. அது ஒண்ணும் நம்ம என்ன வேணா பண்ணலாம் இல்லையா.
நடுவுல ஏதோ நான் ஒரு தப்பா ஐடியா கொடுத்துட்டேனோன்னு எனக்கு தெரியல. போதாயினரை எங்கேயுமே சங்கரர் ரெஃபர் பண்றதா தெரியல. போதாயினர் அக்செப்ட் பண்ணிக்கல. என்ன அங்க இருக்கிற, அதாவது என்ன ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா அதுல என்ன ப்ராப்ளம்னா, உபவர்ஷர் பகவான் உபவர்ஷா அப்படின்ற வார்த்தையை சங்கரர் 2-3 இடத்துல உபயோகப்படுத்துறார். உபவர்ஷரும் போதாயினரும் ஒண்ணுன்னு சில பேர் சொல்றா, உபவர்ஷரும் போதாயினரும் வெவ்வேறேன்னு சொல்றா. உதாரணத்துக்கு ஆனந்தமயாதிகரணத்துல வரக்கூடிய விற்த்திகார மதம்ங்கிறது போதாயன மதம் இல்லைம்பா. ஏன்னா அது கொஞ்சம் அத்வைத ஓரியன்டட் வியூ. அது அந்த விற்த்திகார மதம்
போதாயனா can be taken only as a Visishtadvaita interpreter.
Out and out.
அதுதான். ஏன்னா பட் in your beginning of your lecture I
உபவர்ஷரும் போதாயினரும் ஒண்ணுன்னு வந்ததுனால ஏதாவது அது கொடுத்திருக்கோம். அது சில பேருடைய வியூ, அது பூர்வபட்சம். சில பேருடைய
that is the idea is better, that idea is clarified now. Thank you.
And but அந்த ஆனந்தமயாதிகரணத்திலேயே போதாயினருடைய வியூன்னு ஒத்துக்கிற இது ஜெனரலா சொல்லல, அவரை கிரிட்டிசைஸ் பண்றாருன்னு சொல்லல. விருத்திகாரருக்கு அதெல்லாம் இன்னும் ஃபுல்லா ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ண முடியல. அதெல்லாம் வந்து இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் இட் ரெக்வயர்ஸ் லாட் ஆஃப் ரிசர்ச். அதான் சொன்னேன். சோ போதாயினருடைய கொட்டேஷன் 7 கொட்டேஷன் சிறிபாஷ்யத்துல இருந்து தெரியறது தான். இது வந்து வாக்கியக்காரர் டங்கர்னு சொல்லுவா, பிரம்மநந்தின்னு சொல்லுவா. இந்த ரெண்டுத்திலையும் இருக்கிறதுனால, ஏன்னா நிறைய புஸ்தகங்கள்ல டங்கர், பிரம்மநந்தி, ஆத்ரேயர், வாக்கியக்காரர் இந்த 4 பேரும் சினானிமா யூஸ் ஆகுது. 4 பேரும் சினானிமா யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது வாக்கியக்காரருங்கிறதையும் பிரம்மநந்திங்கிற பேரையும் இது ரொம்ப யூஸ் பண்ணல. வாக்கியக்காரருங்கிற பேரை ராமானுஜர் நிறைய வந்து அப்ரூவலையும் எடுக்கிறார். ஆனா ஆச்சாரிய டங்கருங்கிறவ என்ன அது என்ன சொல்றாருனாக்கா, என்ன யதார்த்த சம்திங் they are not presenting the clear view னு யாமுனர் சொல்லிடுறார். ஆரம்பத்திலே சித்தித்ரயத்துல ஆரம்பத்திலே ஆச்சாரிய டங்க பர்த்திர பிரபஞ்ச சங்கர ஸ்ரீவத்சாங்க மிஸ்ரன்னு இதெல்லாம் வந்து என்ன யதார்த்தம் பிரதிபத்தியந்தேன்ட்டு இல்லையா. ஸோ கொஞ்சம் தலைவலிகள் இருக்குதான் இருக்கு. அது வந்து என்ன, ஸோ 20 சென்டென்ஸ் வாக்கியக்காரர்கிட்டேருந்து, அந்த 20ல அத்வைதா கொட்டேஷன்ஸ் 8 வாக்கியக்கார கொட்டேஷன், 12 வந்து ராமானுஜர் கொட்டேஷன், 30 கொட்டேஷன் திரமிடாச்சாரிய கொட்டேஷன், அதுல 9 அத்வைதா கொட்டேஷன், 11 விசிஷ்டாத்வைதா கொட்டேஷன். விசிஷ்டாத்வைதம்ங்கிறது வேதாந்த தேசிகர் பிளஸ் ராமானுஜர்.
தனியா ஆர்டிகலா யாராவது எழுதிருக்காளா இந்த என்னென்ன கொட்டேஷன்ஸ் பத்தி? நிறைய
வந்திருக்கு.
ஓஹோ, தனியா பார்க்கலாம்.
இதெல்லாம் வந்து நான் எல்லாம் ஃபுல்லா ஒரிஜினல்னு சொல்ல மாட்டேன்.
எல்லாமே அவ்வளவுதான். நாம பெரியவாள்கிட்ட கேட்டது தானே சொல்றோம். Nothing is original for that matter for anybody.
ஏன்னா இதெல்லாம் போய் உட்கார்ந்து படிக்கிற அளவுக்கு டைம், ஞானம், நாலேஜ் எல்லாம் வேணும்.
But anyhow, your lecture was very informative and highly intellectual lecture that will be very useful for everybody to cherish.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, so more than your lecture, the discussion was more useful, sir, for us. Thank you. Now I request one of our senior members of Alumni Association, Mr. V.R. Krishnan, to propose the vote of thanks.
I thank all the teachers who have just joined here and blessed me. Thank you.
Sir, with permission, just I would like to share, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Professor
I'd like to
Anand
share only one
Professor
important information.
Indra and others. Yes, I mean, that is up to Parsar. Yes.
No, absolutely no problem.
Parsardi, can I take
Yes,
only
sir.
1 minute?
Oh yes, sure, sir.
Even though I was not, because Professor Venkatesh was asking about the books of Nathamuni, there are only 2 textbooks, Nyaya Tattva and Yoga Ragastya. Those 2 textbooks not actually were not available, but were the 2 textbooks of Nathamuni.
Yes.
And I would like to add one more, Mr. Srinivasan. You started referring with Yamunacharya, but before Yamunacharya, Nathamuni was the first Acharya, as you're all aware, because Swami Vedanteshika quotes very clearly in Tattamutta Kalapa 496 sloka, 3rd line. The text is Tattamutta Kalapa, sloka number is 496. Uttarardhathala, number Sampradayat what solde before what we called Alavanda, which is called Yamunacharya. Nathamuni is the first Acharya. So he starts like this, sentence is like this. Just I quote from the text. Nato pajñam pravuttam bahubi upachitam yamuneya prabandaihi. This is sentence is there in the 496 sloka. So here Nathamuni is the first Acharya, then comes on. So Professor quotes, next all Acharya quotes Nathamuni. His works were 2, Nyaya Tattva and Yoga Ragastya. Just I would like to share. Thank you for just taking myself time. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Amda sir. Thank you.
Thank you. இதுல வந்து நான் சொன்னது லட்சுமிநாத சமாரம்பம் நாத யாமுன மத்தியமா
Yamuna Madhyama. Aspada Acharya.
அவ 2 பேரும் இப்ப சங்கராச்சாரிய மத்தியமா பகவத்பாத மத்தியமாம்னு சொல்லுவோம். சதாசிவ சமாரம்பம் சங்கராச்சாரிய மத்தியமாம்னு சொல்லுவோம். அந்த மாதிரி அவ 2 பேரும் எம்பெருமானார் தரிசனம்னு இருந்தாலும் அவ 2 பேருடைய சித்தாந்தம்னு வந்திருக்கிறதுனால அதுக்கு முன்னாடி இருக்கக்கூடிய பேச நான் எடுத்துக்கிறேன் அப்படின்னு அவ 2 பேருக்கு முன்னாடி.
Okay, sir. Now I request Mr. V.R. Krishnan to propose vote of thanks.
See, for more than 1 hour, we had an excellent discussion on how Visishtadvaita philosophy existed even before Ramanuja. And Ramanuja was a profounder, as our beloved Guru, Sri Venkatakrishnan said. Ramanuja was a profounder. Founders were so many. These things were not known for many of us. Now, Professor Dr. Srinivasan has clarified all these things, and we are very much thankful to him. Especially, he said that one who is, even though he is very great, he could not single-handedly collect all the works and all that. That was an excellent method, and which people who think that they are experts will definitely understand. And how Vedic and non-Vedic coexisted. That was also one of the things which he explained very well. He quoted this Atato Brahma Jigyasaka, and he explained all those things through Ramanuja's time. And about this 3 Acharyas, especially the Bodhayana, Brahmanandi, and Dravidacharya, how Ramanuja quoted all these things. And that was a very interesting thing. One more thing is, do not be disheartened by whatever good or things, take them as they are. That was the crux of the message of any philosophy of that matter. So that way, we are really grateful to Dr. Srinivasan and the additions through Professor Dr. Venkatakrishnan. And we are very much honored by all these scholars, Professor Ananta. We thank every one of them for their excellent contribution to this today's meeting, which was a really worth, and we will cherish this memory throughout our lifetime as students of philosophy, Veda, and Visishtadvaita. Thank you very much, friends. I thank all those who have participated and started throughout the lecture. Thank you very much, all my friends. Thank you.
Okay, sir. We will officially close.
Okay, thank you all.
And we end the meeting officially. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. Thank you, all.